These 17 One Piece characters possess the qualities of a king and are also known as supreme rulers. Their willpower and ambition are so strong that they can do anything they set their mind on, and today we'll cover all of them, starting with Dark King Silver's Rayleigh. Rayleigh was one of Roger's most trusted allies and one of the most powerful combatants in the world during his prime. Even years after his heyday, Rayleigh is capable of using his Conqueror's Haki at a frightening level. We first witnessed this during the 𝐿𝐵𝐷𝐻 arc when he easily rendered the owner of the auctioning house unconscious and later the entire hall room full of hostiles. What's more, as seen in both of these scenarios, he can seemingly choose specific targets he wants to attack with his Haki instead of attacking everyone in his vicinity. His knowledge and understanding of this power are probably one of the greatest in the series, shown when he trained Luffy, a complete novice, and turned him into a really strong Haki user in only 2 years. Oda, the author of One Piece, stated that Rayleigh's Conqueror Haki was at least twice as potent as Luffy's by the time of the Fishman Island arc, and that Rayleigh could have knocked out all 100,000 of the new Fishman pirates. At the end of each character, I'll also rank how strong their Conqueror's Haki is, and based on all of this, Rayleigh definitely belongs in A tier. Boa Hancock, the Pirate Empress. Boa is the captain of the Kuja Pirates and was the only female warlord of the sea before the organization's disbandment. According to Sandersonia and herself, Boa possesses the ability to use Conqueror's Haki. While she has not yet showcased her usage of it in the manga, we can actually see her using it in One Piece games Burning Blood and Pirate Warriors 4. However, since the events of those games aren't canon, I'll unfortunately have to put her in D tier for now. Don Quixote Doflamingo, the Heavenly Demon. Doflamingo was one of the strongest warlords in the series, as well as the former world noble and king of Dressrosa. He first awakened his Conqueror's Haki when he was around 10 years old, when being pursued by North Blue citizens who tried to continuously torture his family in revenge, knocking them all out. Since then, his proficiency with it had increased greatly, as shown when he knocked out most of the G5 Marines at Punk Hazard. He also used it briefly in his encounter with Luffy when their strikes collided, fighting on par with the Straw Hat. Although we don't have much information to go by when ranking Doflamingo's Haki, it's evident that he's very skilled in using it, and therefore, I'll place him in B tier. Straw Hat Luffy. Just like his tutor Silver's Rayleigh, Luffy managed to master all 3 forms of Haki in a short period of time. Rayleigh even stated he has a noticeable talent for Haki, having mastered the basic applications of all 3 forms in only a year and a half. During pre-time skip, we've seen Luffy using Conqueror's Haki unintentionally multiple times. For example, knocking out multiple Kuja warriors, defeating the attacking wolves in Impel Down, knocking out several elite marines at Marineford, and even using it repeatedly to destroy the subscribe button. Alright, that last one's maybe not entirely true, but you should definitely subscribe. Thanks. Anyway, over the 2-year time skip, Rayleigh taught him more about Conqueror Haki. Thus, he finally gained conscious control over it. Same as Rayleigh, he became capable of using it on only designated targets without affecting anyone else. We first got to see the extent of his new power on Fishman Island, where he instantly knocked out 50,000 members of the new Fishman pirates. Later in the story, during the raid on Onigashima, while fighting Kaido, Luffy realized that he can infuse himself with Haki, doing so on his arms and legs, which dramatically increases his attack power. Combined with his advanced armament Haki, this allowed him to deal immensely powerful blows against Kaido, whereas his previous attacks were too shallow. However, since he only discovered this application of Conqueror's Haki a few moments prior, his control over it was crude and clumsy, leading to him being swiftly knocked down by the Emperor. Not long after, when Luffy and Kaido clashed for the 3rd time, their imbued Conqueror's Haki attacks caused clouds to part, something that had previously only ever occurred whenever 2 of the Emperors clashed against each other or when Roger himself had fought against one. As such, this might indicate that Luffy's Haki has ascended to the same level as that of the strongest pirates in the world. Don 𝐶𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿. 𝐶𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿 was a former pirate, the leader of the 𝐶𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿 family, and the retired 12th leader of the Hoppo Navy. In his golden age, when he was still a pirate, he was considered a rival to both Garp and Roger and had a bounty of 542 million bellies. During one of his battles against Garp, the Vice Admiral punched him so hard that his head flattened. This incident severely limited his power from then on, and shortly after, he quit being a pirate. 𝐶𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿 had shown the ability to use Conqueror's Haki during the Dressrosa arc when he knocked out many of the competitors in Block C without laying a finger on them. This is an impressive feat, considering that most of the participants in 𝐾𝐫𝐷𝐻 Coliseum are strong fighters. Since 𝐶𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿 was one of the most famous pirates of his era, his Conqueror's Haki should be at least in a B tier. Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. Edward Newgate was one of the most powerful pirates in history, and while he was still alive, he held the 2nd biggest bounty ever, 5,046,000,000 bellies. Unfortunately, due to his illness, we've never seen him using Conqueror's Haki in the present timeline. However, judging by flashbacks from his heyday, he was an absolute beast in using it. He regularly clashed with some of the One Piece legends like Roger and Odin and seemingly never lost a duel. The best example of his Haki mastery was displayed in chapter 966, when he fought his longtime rival Goldie Roger. thunder. Here, their clashing 𝐿 Haki was powerful enough to crack the air and generate a shockwave that blew back everything on the island. As you would expect, he was also able to infuse his weapon, Murakumogiri, with his Conqueror's Haki, immensely increasing its strength. In his prime, Whitebeard was basically unstoppable and could pretty much defeat any character in the series. I think we can all agree that this legend deserves to be placed in God tier. Sengoku, the Buddha. Sengoku is actually the first and only Conqueror's Haki user on this list that isn't a pirate. Additionally, he's the only known marine in the series capable of using all 3 types of Haki. Although Oda, the creator of One Piece, confirmed that Sengoku has Conqueror's Haki, we've never got to see him use it as the former fleet admiral usually stays out of combat. However, judging by his reputation and feats, Sengoku's Haki should definitely be an A tier. Charlotte Lean Lean, Big Mom. Big Mom is one of the most powerful characters in all of One Piece, and being a former emperor, she's capable of utilizing all 3 types of Haki. She first showcased her mastery in using Conqueror's Haki at Sanji and Pudding's wedding when she knocked a man out for questioning her relationship with Mother Carmel. Later, when her portrait of Carmel was destroyed, a distraught Big Mom unleashed her Haki again and incapacitated most of the party guests. She also has a rare ability to infuse Conqueror's Haki into herself, as signified by the black lightning emanating from the infused area. This drastically increases her attack power, and combined with her physical strength and armament Haki, makes her pretty much invincible. The best example is when she fought against Kaido at Onigashima, and the clash of their Conqueror's Hakis created a massive shockwave that split the heavens. As one of the former emperors of the sea, Big Mom's Haki should be strong enough to get her into A tier. Charlotte Katakuri. Being undoubtedly the strongest Sweet Commander, same as his mother, Katakuri managed to master all 3 forms of Haki. We've seen this when he released a large burst of Conqueror's Haki along with Luffy's own Haki in order to knock out Charlotte Flampe and her subordinates as punishment for their interruption. Although Katakuri is a very strong pirate with a bounty of over 1 billion bellies, Conqueror's Haki is not his main weapon when it comes to combat, and he mostly relies on other Haki types like observation. Therefore, I'll put him in B tier. Kozuki Oden. Although Oden was a pirate for only 5 years, he achieved many great things, like being a part of both Whitebeard and Roger pirates and finding the Laugh Tale. We've seen Oden using Conqueror's Haki multiple times throughout the series, and each time he managed to clash evenly against very powerful opponents. During his initial encounter with Edward Newgate 30 years ago, the sudden clash between them created a massive shockwave and an effect similar to lightning. A similar thing later happened in his battle against Kaido, with whom Oden clashed evenly despite Kaido's inhuman strength. While not shown in the manga, Oden also used Conqueror's Haki's more common effects in the anime once, making a bunch of Kaido's subordinates faint. Although Oden showcased unprecedented mastery of Conqueror's Haki, there were still some characters he couldn't defeat, and for that reason, I'll put him at the top of A tier. Captain Eustace Kidd. According to Kaido, Kidd possesses the ability to use Conqueror's Haki. However, so far in the manga, we didn't actually see him use this ability. Due to this severe lack of information and the fact that Shanks overpowered him quickly with his own Haki-infused attack, I'll have to put Kidd in D tier for now. Yamato, the Oni Princess. As the son of Kaido, it was only natural for Yamato to develop incredible mastery over Conqueror's Haki. He first awakened it 20 years ago due to running wild throughout Onigashima as a child and knocking out Kaido's subordinates. As an adult, Yamato demonstrated its advanced application and was able to imbue his weapon, Takeru, with it. This caused a stream of black lightning to be emitted from it, as shown when performing Raimei Hake and Shinsoku Hakujaku. Even though Yamato managed to fight against Kaido for some time, it was obvious that her mastery over this power was nowhere near his, so I think B tier is a fitting place for him. Kaido, King of the Beasts. As the former Emperor of the Sea, Kaido is one of the most powerful pirates in the New World. He possesses immense mastery in using Conqueror's Haki, as shown when he clashed against a fellow Emperor Big Mom, producing a burst that shook Onigashima and split the sky in 2. Additionally, Kaido can release extremely potent bursts of Haki that can damage the landscape around him and blow away opponents. Same as a few of the previous characters, he can infuse Conqueror's Haki into things, particularly his Hasaikai, signified by the thin stream of black lightning radiating from it. When using this ability along with his natural physical strength, Kaido can easily knock out even some of the most powerful pirates in the series with only a few strikes. I wasn't sure if I should put Kaido in A or God tier, but considering that there's still some characters with stronger Haki than his, I'll put him at the top of A tier. Goldie Roger, the Pirate King. As the Pirate King and the man who conquered the Grand Line, Roger is the pirate with the highest bounty in history. What's even more impressive is that he achieved all this solely relying on his Haki, without ever eating a devil fruit. His usage of Conqueror's Haki was first seen when he clashed with Whitebeard, causing a large Haki burst to travel across the island and push back the Moby Dick alongside the nearby trees, clouds, and people. He could also infuse his sword Ace with Haki, and with only one swing, he could send a powerful combatant like Oden flying miles away. Roger Roger is truly one of the Haki legends of the One Piece world, and he definitely deserves his spot in God tier. Roronoa Zoro, the Pirate Hunter. For most of the series, the power of Conqueror's Haki is laid dormant within Zoro, without him even knowing that he possesses it. This was first confirmed by Kaido after the Emperor was struck by Zoro's 9-sword style attack. Later, during Zoro's battle against King, he decided to go all out and use his Haki at its maximum, which ended up knocking out multiple low-ranked beast pirates, causing him to acknowledge he possessed it. At the same time, he ended up using its advanced application, infusing it into his 3 swords with all 3 emitting streams of black lightning. As their battle continued, Zoro gained conscious control over this power, using it to deal significant damage to King and eventually defeat him. Although Zoro only awakened this power recently, he's already shown great mastery over it, and therefore I'll put him in B tier for now. However, I definitely expect him to climb through the rankings as the story goes on. Fire-Fist Ace. As the son of the Pirate King, Ace was bound to be a very powerful pirate and had the predisposition to develop an incredibly strong Haki. He did that at an early age, but initially had no conscious control over it. The first time we've seen Ace use this power was when he was around 10 years old and rendered the Blue Jam pirates unconscious after an outburst of rage. He later gained knowledge of this power, presumably when he was a captain of the Spade Pirates or when he joined Whitebeard. Unfortunately, since pre-time skip, One Piece didn't really focus on Haki that much, we've never seen Ace use it. Therefore, I can't place him any higher than C tier. Red-haired Shanks. Throughout the series, Shanks has often been portrayed as one of the most powerful Conqueror Haki users in the entire world. He was actually the first person we see use this mysterious power all the way back in Chapter 1, when he intimidated a Sea King with a single glare, causing it to flee for its life. A bit later in the story, Shanks showcased his Haki mastery again when boarding Whitebeard's main ship. There, he was capable of knocking dozens of Whitebeard's men unconscious, many of whom were seasoned pirates able to survive the New World, while the flagship itself was damaged from the sheer force of his presence. When Shanks and Whitebeard collided, their combined might even split the sky in half. Although these events alone are enough to solidify him as one of the strongest Haki users ever, Shanks actually managed to impress us once again during the Wano arc. Here, he released a massive burst of Conqueror's Haki that paralyzed Admiral Green Bull and prevented him from entering the country. What's even more impressive is that Shanks was nowhere close to the Admiral when he did this. He was actually miles away on his ship. We've never seen Conqueror's Haki used this efficiently before in the series, and even Jinbei and Yamato stated that such a display of Haki was monstrous. Shanks can also infuse his Conqueror's Haki into things, particularly his sword Griffin, signified by the thin streams of black lightning radiating from it. Although other characters can also do this, Shanks seems to have a much greater potency with this ability than anyone else. This is best seen when he defeated Eustace Kid and Killer with a single Haki-infused attack, despite the fact that both Kid and Killer were capable of enduring multiple attacks from Big Mom and her homies. I don't think there's any further explanation needed. Shanks obviously goes into God tier. Click on this video where we explained and ranked all 7 admirals in One Piece. Why are you still here? Click it!